Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Welcome, Bara. You are number one today. Turn my phone down. And I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Brina, welcome. You are number two. And Frankie, you are number three. Welcome, welcome. Hey, hey, hey. And for anyone over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, welcome. Heiko, welcome, welcome. J Will 72. Welcome, whoever you are. Oh boy. Hey guys, hello, hello, hello. Today, I have something to say. But I can't say it quite yet because the gang's not all here. So, oh boy. Don't you just love it when people think you're pulling the wool over your eyes, but they're not? I love it. Okay, so when they think they're doing it to me. But anyway, this show today is Please Like Me. Why do some people have to be liked? Why do some people lie to be liked? Welcome, Ninja Bunny. Why do some people portray themselves to be something they're not just to be liked and accepted? Doesn't at least one person know the real us or the real you? Now, we could say this is a continuation from yesterday. It is sort of, I did purposely do this back to back because I, do want to know, why do people have to be liked? Like, there are some people who just, they want you to like them. Um, why? Is it just in their personality? Is it that they don't have anyone to talk to? Does it is it from childhood? Were they bullied a lot? Did they not have a lot of friends? Why do some people have to be liked? But more often, some people lie to be liked. Some people will make up stories about themselves to be liked. They will say things and possibly do things. Uh, Sometimes change the way they look, change their world around a bit just to support this lie, all to be liked. Welcome, Juju. So that's the question, that I have. What is the purpose? What is the purpose? And yesterday I asked, what was the end game for someone who was a catfish or an internet troll. So today I'm asking, is there an end game for the person, who wants to be liked? I mean, you can say the end game is, well, that they're liked and they have all these friends. But, at the same time, if people like you, shouldn't they like you for you? Shouldn't they like you with all your flaws, all your attitude, all your, you know, wonderfulness, so to speak. But people, they don't do that. And again, you look at children who, you know, um, they'll start wearing things that they usually wouldn't wear because the other girls are wearing, or the other guys are, wearing their pants this way. They may not even like it, but they'll do it to be accepted and to be liked. So that's a double question I have. Is there a difference from being accepted, wanting to be accepted, and wanting to be liked? Are those two the same things? And Heiko says want to, if they want to, if they want you to like them, they're going to shape you in a way you don't want to be shaped. Okay, are people going to allow themselves to be shaped like that? Okay, Brina says similar to a catfish. I think it comes down to self-esteem or fear of unacceptance. Juju says absolutely. Hey, Grit, and hello, Mr. B. Mr. B, I'm going to put friendly differences email in the chat. Ba and I would like for you, if you don't mind, to contact us because we would like to talk to you about being on our show. It's real simple. friendlydifferences@gmail.com. Okay, so and Grit, I have not forgotten about the whole time thing. I'm trying to figure that one out. Welcome, Jester. Welcome. Ba, your bestie is in the house. He's in my house, but he's in the house for you because he probably knew you were here. Hello, Jimmy. Hello. Oh boy. Oh, Jester, you and Bob just crack me up. You all really do. You had me smiling.
It isn't Jester.
Smiling.
Long time no see, buddy. And where you been hiding, sir?
Oh boy. Hello, Jimmy. No, I'm just saying that Jester had me laughing. Jester and Bob both had me laughing and smiling last night. So that's a good thing.
Nice. Let me ask you. This is a real thing that might happen in the United States. You live in the United States, right?
Yes, I do. I live in Cali.
Okay. Cali. So how would you feel for another additional tax? Because you know how we pay on our property taxes, we pay the education tax, property tax, and etc. The list goes on. How would you feel if you had to pay an additional tax to help LGBTQ groups?
I would not, but Jimmy, that's not the title of my show.
I'm just saying, this is insane. They literally are trying to force millions of Americans to pay this tax for these groups when majority of the people do not support these groups. Isn't that insane?
It is.
It's insane.
So
like, my God. And so what happened to no taxation without representation?
So
I thought our forefathers fought against this tyranny.
So can I get on to my other topic, Jimmy?
Sure, go for it.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. B. So
I'm just insane in the membrane. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, buddy, I hear you.
It's going to be one of those shows, but that's okay because I have something to say towards the end. But I'm waiting for the game to get here so I can say what I have to say, which is going to relate to this show and yesterday's show. But like I said, I'm waiting for the game to be here, so I will be a little bit off topic. But I mean, but honestly, I really would like to know why do people try so hard to be liked, and is being liked and accepted the same thing? Wanting to be liked and wanting to be accepted, is that the same thing? And Jimmy, you want to say something else, so go ahead.
Ooh, that is a great topic.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I love that topic. Those are good questions, and why do people want to be liked? I mean, you got a couple of reasons. I mean, the obvious reason, people just want that security to know they feel welcome. Nobody does not like to not feel welcome. They want to be welcome when they go. So part of accepting people wanting to be accepted and like is they want to feel welcome. They want to feel happy. They want to feel free of judgment per se. Uh, Now, is there a difference between accepting someone and liking them? He said, "Has Jimmy been drinking?" Ooh, my friend, not yet, but I will be. But is there a difference between? You said, is there a difference between actually liking someone
No, I'm saying
and just
is it the same? Is wanting to be liked and wanting to be accepted the same thing?
wanting to be liked and wanting to be accepted? Is that the same thing? No, they're not. That's two different things. I mean, because I like you. I'm gonna give you an example because I do. Let's just say, if I like you, I don't necessarily have to accept you though. As in, like, yes, everybody has opinions. Yes, everybody is entitled to their opinions. But I mean, for the sake of the argument here, to answer the questions, as from a personal experience, so I had people who liked me but didn't accept me in their social circle. They saw me more as like, yeah, I'll talk to him in school, but outside of school, I hang out with these people, or I really like these people more than I like this person. So, from personal experience, I can say yes, there is a difference, and that too, that's a good one too, Mister B. Great times. We accept the boss, but we don't like them. That's very true. That's another prime example.
Okay, so Mr. B, you want to expand on that or expound?
Oh yeah. I work with people in the past and everything, and we accept each other while we're in the office. But when we leave, I don't see them jokers again.
But are you really okay? Now you came up with another adjective that I can use. Are you accepting them or are you tolerating them?
Well, some I accept and others I tolerate.
Because we all tolerate a lot of people, but do you like them? Probably not. Do you accept them? Maybe, but do you tolerate them? I think most people tolerate people. Do you all think that I'm wrong? You want to push back or
No, no, I think you have to tolerate people because if you don't, then you're gonna have a rough life.
I have to
okay?
agree with them.
Okay, but you okay? Now I'm picking words now. You just said you have to tolerate people. Why do you have
Yes,
to?
because the law states. Yeah, that's why.
Mm,
But the
But that's
law's
up
not
to a
definite.
point
It can
because
always change.
without law, then you can do whatever you want to. So what I'm saying is, you can still be sociable, at work and everything, but it doesn't mean you have to, hey, let's grab some drinks afterwards, or hey, what are you doing after work, kind of thing. So, please like me. I mean, some people really have that strong desire. Please like me, like me. If you don't like me, then uh, I'm doing terribly wrong, or I'm not a good person, or something. So it could be based on the individual, what's going on in their life.
okay, and Brina says, yeah, to keep the peace, sometimes you have to let petty stuff go. Brina, I kind of disagree with that because it all depends upon who's the person that's being petty. So sometimes you got to just let people know certain things. So
Is that a
sorry.
song? Gotta let it go. That's a song, isn't it?
Yeah, Frozen.
No, not that one, but that's a good song too. No, I'll tell
Oh, okay.
you brought
Oh
Disney.
boy.
That's the only song I could think of when you said "Let It Go." I was like, ah, Disney.
It's a
we can all
slow
take we
jazz
can all
song.
take a note from there.
All right.
I gotta look it up though.
So again, do you think that you have a group of people, your friends? Why is it always that one friend? And well, I shouldn't say always. Why is it sometimes, and this is usually when we're growing up and we're in school, it's that one friend that no one really, it's like they're just there. You all know what I'm talking about? No, y'all don't know what I'm
What was
talking
your
about.
question?
Okay. Why is it that you have that one person when and I say usually it happens when you are young, like in high school, when you're in, I don't know, first, second, third, fourth grade, whatever. You always have your group of friends, your clique, but there's always that one person who's in the clique but not really in the clique, and no one really makes an effort to bring them into your circle.
That was me. That is me.
So
So I mean, I'm totally serious. So why is it? I mean, is it that person, that they want to be liked and accepted, but no one is making the effort to do so, or they're not making the effort? I mean, you always have that that outlier.
Well, for me, it's because I like doing so much stuff. I like doing so many things, so I didn't always connect with certain people on a certain level, but just enough to be, to be there. I say busy a lot, so I might be with one group for a little while. The next week, I'm with someone else. So I'm kind of like a chameleon a little bit. So that's why I
Well, no, I
don't
don't
always do
mean. I mean, I don't mean that. I mean, because we all have friends who don't necessarily.
so are you ta- so are you talking about like you have a group of friends you keep in a close circle, and then you have these friends on the outside of the circle that are just there?
Well, no, I mean, we all have our inner circle. We all have the group of
Mm-hmm.
friends that we, just tell everything to, whatever. I'm talking about, say, only way I can put it is if you're in high school and again, you're part of this clique. Um, and it's always like that one person who's in the clique but not in the clique. They're just there. They're always just there. It's like if you say that you're going to go to McDonald's, everyone's going to go, so everyone goes, whatever. There's that one person who is that follower, and they're usually a friend with one person in the group, but they've never been brought into the group, but they follow you around because they want to be liked. I'm trying to make sense. I really am.
No, it makes sense. I get it. It's just like the old fashioned
Most of the
Jericho. Like some of them don't go all the way around. It's almost there, but not quite there. I get it.
most of the time, from my experience, like, 'cause I've been on both sides of that spectrum. So for me, like, I have that one person that that I have follow me around because technically, I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but I could use that person to get something from them. So I will always have that person on the back burner. I mean, like I said, I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but because I do help them too. They help me, I help you. We're still friends. I don't treat them like shit, but they're not considered like my best friend. They're just a friend that I know from school or from. Uh, they're they're just there. They have resources that I like to use, and then I've been on that spectrum too plenty of times, so I know how that feels. So that's why I refuse to treat those people like shit. Like I said, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, and then I got my other group of friends that I'm really close with, that I really know for since I was in elementary slash middle school, and we we're closer in age and we have a lot more in common with each other than I do with that other person. So there's reasons for me why I have friends that are like that person, that I have them there, but they're not really a person I want to associate with in public so much with. And then there's those who I do associate a lot in public with, but it's just you
So
see where I'm
so
getting
I
at.
mean, no, I totally get it. So, but why do you not want to associate with that particular person in in a public setting?
Well, to be honest, because the last time I did associate myself with that person in public setting, they did something that really pissed me off, and to the point where they got me thrown out of a restaurant. It was a bar and grill. They got me thrown out of a bar and grill just because I was associated with them. I did absolutely nothing wrong. I literally walked into the place, went to the restroom, and when I came out, all I heard was the the bartender, the waitress, and the owner, like, hey, y'all guys need to go, all of y'all. I'm like, I'm sorry, what did I do? What happened? What's going on? Like, oh, well, you know this person and this person. I'm like, okay. So, that's why
So, but do
certain
you
places I
but do you think
refuse
that people do that? That they act out, so to speak, because they
to get
want to be
attention.
accepted, or okay, and you can say attention is getting attention also a way that people want to be liked, because even in adulthood you have people who do things to be liked, but they go about it the wrong way.
Right, right, right. I hear you. I think so. I think that particular person, I'm just going to call him Jerry. I think particularly Jerry who would do these things to seek attention or approval from the group, um, because he saw us maybe do some crazy stuff too, and he thought maybe if I do some crazy stuff too, that they would be more accepting. But our crazy stuff wasn't something of that nature. It was more like extreme sports crazy.
Okay, all right.
And so I think Jerry had a misinterpretation of what we were doing and what the group was about. So that's why we kind of like, we have him there as a friend because we do know him from school, but we don't really invite him to places all the time because of
So
such
okay,
behavior.
so you tolerate him then.
Yeah.
You don't, but so he's not accepted or liked, he's tolerated.
Well, I mean, we all like the dude. We just said we don't really. I mean, we like him, but we tolerate him. And ironically and coincidentally, he happens to be the brother of one of the guys in the group. So we just put up with him because he's his brother.
Okay, see what you just said. You said you put up with him, so that's
Yeah.
telling me that you tolerate him.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. Ziller, welcome.
Welcome, Zoe.
Hey, I can't be on here long. I'm in the hospital right now, but what's up?
Hello. How are you? Sorry you're in the hospital.
Hospital. You all right?
Not really. Um,
Well,
just what's the topic?
Ziller, why do you do that?
What do you mean?
You come on and you come up on the panel and you say what's the topic?
So she's talking about.
I'm
Uh,
talking about people who want to be like people who do things or portray themselves in a particular way in order to be liked, or they really have to be liked and accepted.
Right.
So did
Guess
you?
they. I guess they try to. They want to be liked. They
Well,
try. They want to be in a group, but they want to be kind of like school.
okay, all right, okay. So, Mr. B,
Yes.
do you want to comment on anything Ziller or Jimmy said?
Well, yeah. I mean, to be liked, I guess it's kind of like being school sometimes. Because I think most people want to be liked. They want to share bonds, but sometimes you gotta be careful. Who you're after. You know what I mean? I mean, it can be like a gang kind of thing. Gang members and all that stuff. Just because people want to be liked, they want to be and belonging into something. So it could be something dangerous as well. Just so
But
long as they feel like they're a part of something.
so let me ask you this: do you think that the people who are wanting to be liked could be a danger? Could it be the opposite way, that they could be the danger, that they could be the threat?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy. Yeah, absolutely.
I would say absolutely. Let's take a prime example of school shootings. Most of those kids who do the school shooting is because they're being bullied or picked on because either A, they're doing something wrong, and the people who are picking on them trying to teach them don't do that, this is what happens when you do it, or B, because they're assholes and they torture them. Now, these kids, most of the time, because I've seen it growing up and first-hand experience, these kids, they try so hard to be like, but there's just something about them that the kids just don't like them, so they just pick on them because they're trying to get them to get them away from you. Like, we don't want you around us, so we'll pick on you, and stuff. And these kids, they start bottling up all this aggression and depression and this force, I guess you can say, a type of force that just sooner or later consumes them, and they go do something crazy like shooting up their school because they don't know how to handle not being liked, not being accepted.
But okay, Jimmy, so we're going down another route now with the shootings. So let me ask this, because now we're going to kind of get into the weeds since you said the shootings, what have you. Why do we have, Columbine happened in 1999, okay, and everyone was just completely shocked that happened. So 20 years later, 23, 24 years later, we still have them. Why didn't we have school shootings in the 80s? Why didn't we have them in the 70s? Why didn't we have them in the 60s, the 30s, the 50s, whatever? Why are we having them now? So is it because more children are not liked? Is it because social media is out there and more people, are being taunted and teased and trolled and what have you, on a platform that allows people to hide behind another name? So now these people, like you said, who are bullied, now they're, I mean, this is why. So why didn't we have it in the, like I said, the 60s, the 70s, whatever? Why are we having it now?
Why? Well, let's take a good look at the era between the 50s and the 90s. Let's look at those. So during those time periods in school, kids used to actually fight. They will physically
they did.
fight
They
each
said,
other.
meet me
And
outside.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And they would duke out their issues and problems. And if somebody was bullying at that person, the bully, the person who's getting bullied on, would go and kick that person's ass. They wouldn't get a repercussion because they're defending themselves. Nowadays, oh my God, you can't even defend yourself without being thrown in detention, ISS, suspended, or expelled. It's a fucking sin in the schools to defend yourself. It's atrocious. It's disgusting. So these kids, they can't defend themselves physically anymore, and that's part of the reason their aggression, why they bottle things up and they lose it, because they don't know how to defend themselves. They try doing it verbally, they can't do it verbally because the person doesn't understand. They can't do it physically because they get in trouble for doing the right thing, defending themselves, because the school system wants to chastise an innocent person, the victim, as well as the suspect, the person, or the guilty party as well, because their thing is, oh, we have to punish both parties.
Well, okay, Jimmy, you bring up a good point, but you said now they have all of this bottled up stuff. Don't you think that a lot of it, because when I was in school, and I'm dating myself, when I was in school, we had recess all the time. I mean, we had recess. We also had gym, which I guess they're calling PPE now. We had that. We had all these activities where kids were able to run around and get tired and whatever. So don't you think that maybe that also has something to do with it, that they've cut back on all these things so much in schools, that kids just, I mean, they're literally sitting in these classrooms looking at their phones, and they don't have anywhere to run around, go, for an hour you're playing basketball or tennis or whatever. So don't you think that that also has something to do with it, as opposed to, you know, just okay. Okay. All right. So, Jimmy, wait, Jimmy, hold on. Let me go to Aaron, and then I'll circle back around. Aaron, welcome. But Aaron, when you say access to guns, to me it seems like that it would have been easier to get a gun back in the day as opposed to now. No. I mean, right. I mean, if you wanted the postal shooting started, before the school shootings and all these other mass shootings. So, Jimmy, hold on. I want to put you on hold again. I'm sorry. I want to go to Crazy Lady. She's been waiting patiently. Hey, Crazy Lady. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Crucible, and then I'll go back. I'll go back around because I know Mr. B also hasn't spoken in a while. So Crucible. Well, I'm going to push back a little bit on that. First, I want to read what Jester said. He says, back in the day, they had rifle class in school, no shootings, and you are right. I mean, I remember some of my friends. They had rifle class, and they had all kinds of things. Crucible, I'm going to mute your background noise. And Child Lady, thank you very much for the gift. Um, you know, I am going to push back in a sense that I'm not a single parent. I did not grow up with single parents, but I think single parents get too much of a bad. Um, uh, um, I mean, they get a lot of blame for why their kids went wrong. I know a lot of kids who grew up in two family homes, and they're messed up because neither parent was either paying attention, or there was fighting, or I mean just because you're a single parent, I don't think that means that you've checked out. You have a lot of single parents who work their asses off, and they do quite well. You have single parents who, have 8 kids, and all of their kids, are doctors and lawyers and stuff. So I don't think that you can keep saying single parents, single parent, but at the same time, you know once again, what Aaron said, back in the day, there was just, I mean, it was easier access. There wasn't social media. I would blame social media more so over being a single parent. Um, so I'm just going to play devil's advocate here, because single parents are not the blame for why their children are doing whatever. I mean, I worked in entertainment. I cannot tell you how many times I have witnessed certain people who have millions of dollars, two parent homes. Their kids do something, and they're clueless that they even knew that their kid was even doing this or that. So it doesn't matter to me what economic group you come from. If your kid is going to do something, they are going to do it. Just because you come from a two-parent home does not mean that you know everything that your kid is doing, and that they're not going to act out. And don't forget, it's not just children who are shooting people; it's adults who are shooting people too. And so I'm just saying, because I think, and plus you have single parents who are in this chat, and I'm just saying that it could be insulting. So yes, two is better than one, but you also have a lot of two-parent households where the mom is the one that is pretty much holding everything together. When the kid needs something, it's like, go ask your mom, your mom, your mom, your mom. Your mom did everything, and you can probably ask people, how often did you go to your father if you were in a two-parent household, as opposed to your mom? So I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that that's necessarily the root cause. And Aaron, I know you want to say something, but Mr. B has also not had a chance in a while. So Mr. B, and then I'll come back to you, Aaron. So Mr. B, do you want to say anything, or do you want to pass the mic? Are you still there, or did we put you to sleep? Because you waited so long. Are you there, Mr. B? Hello. Well, Aaron, I guess we're passing the mic. Go ahead. thank, thank you. It's interesting, because Mr. T said they took God out of schools, and and Jester said the Jimmy Show is great today. Oh boy. So taking God out of schools, but but Mr. T, they may have taken God out of schools, but is God in schools in other places? I mean, is God in schools in the UK? Is God in schools in Denmark and some of these other places that don't have mass shootings? So is God really the issue here? That we're that you're not praying? So I'm Mr. B. Have you come back? Okay, I'm going to go to Ba. Hello, you are a little faint. Can you speak up a little bit? Or if you're not going to speak up for me, can you speak up for Jester so Jester can hear you? It's a. I mean, we can hear, but it's not your usual self. So, but go ahead. Well, just because you put your child in daycare doesn't mean that you don't love them. Some people have to put their child in daycare because they have to work, because they have to pay the bills. Whether you're in a single parent home or a two parent home, it's like you know rent's going up, but your salary isn't. And then again, we're focusing on these teenage shooters and what have you. And again, I'm going back to my original question about please like me. Is it about being accepted and liked, or is it something more mental? um and don't forget, and I also just don't want to focus, if we're going to talk about shooters, let's talk about the adults. Let's talk about these 50, 60-year-old people who go out and they're shooting people too. So I mean, can you also say that maybe they weren't loved, or they didn't get a hug? Well, right, okay, but why? Okay, but why? Okay, in that case, why is a 60-year-old snapping now? Why didn't they snap back in the 70s? Why didn't they snap in the 80s? Why are they doing it now? I personally think that social media across the board has more to do with it than if you were a single parent, whatever. And again, you have a lot of parents who, like I said, you have two people who grew up in two children who grew up in the same home. They got the exact amount of love. They got showered with this love, love, love. I love you. They could have sat down every night to have dinner, whatever. One kid goes off and they do something meaningful with their life. The other one becomes a serial killer. So I understand what you all are saying, but you also have people who are in the same household, growing up the same way, go to the same schools, probably have the same teachers, whatever. Why did one turn out this way? The other one turned out that way. And Mr. B, are you back? Okay, so it is. No, no, you are, because again, growing up, I was in the school band. I mean, there was just things that school offered. So yeah, we can talk about the parents and everything, but look at all the cutbacks that have happened just in the last 20 years. I mean, first day of school, they would ask, who wants to be, in the band. What do you want to play? And then the band teacher would come and he would, work with everybody to see, what is the best fit. And then a week later, we were all running home with a flute or whatever, but we don't have that anymore. I mean, schools used to have, cross what country. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 It is. It is. It is. No, you are. You are right. I want to read some of these comments, and then Jimmy, I'm coming to you. Grit says it's the choices we make that's to blame. Mr. Chase says I'm a single parent. You just have to make it happen. You just have to make it happen and invest in your kid's life. Crazy Lady said, yep, and my kids turned out good. Doss says the stats say if both parents are present in the home, almost 80% are more successful than those without. Okay, that's what Crucible was saying. Mr. T said, wish I had double income. Crazy Lady says it is the parents' job to be involved with their child, to know what is going on in their world. Grit says also baby mamas that keep the dads away from their kids don't help either. And you also have, and on the other side, Grit, I'm just playing devil's advocate. You have some dads who don't want to be involved. Please, okay. Juju's asking you guys to please hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. Let's see. Mr. T says, trust me, I'd much rather be home with my kids than going to work. Shy lady, solid, in total agreement with you. Thank you, sis. Don't forget about the Mendez brothers. Absolutely, Mr. T. I mean, you had these two brothers who grew up in a nice home, didn't want for anything, had two parents that loved them. Supposedly, according to one brother, the father, beat them, whatever. I don't know if that was ever proven if it was true or not true, but either way, you have two brothers who grew up in this two-parent home, and they killed their parents, and now they're spending the rest of their life in jail. But on the other hand, you have kids who come from single-parent homes, poor, didn't have much, but they grow up to be, functioning members of society. Bob says social media has amplified people's demons. I'm glad you brought up the media also. Little by little, I brought up social media. Thank you very much. And media that you also go to, Basso. Shy Lady says, like Ted Korinsky and his brother who turned him in. Yes. So again, two people in the same house. Yes, Bob, and I'm glad you said everyone is different and have different levels to their snapping point. So I guess we're both trading. Okay. And Bob knows what I'm talking about. Okay, Doss says, if one of my kids becomes a serial killer, I hope it's more like a Dexter serial killer. That way I could still be proud. I'm sorry, my kid's a serial killer. We're going to have issues. Mr. T says, yes, schools nowadays don't have extra curriculum choices for kids to choose from curriculum. Grit says, nowadays kids are like, mommy won't buy me a PlayStation, so I'll just go out and shoot up a school and smack my parents or go steal it. Jester says, I have to say it. This is a problem amongst public schools. This barely happens at... Okay. This is a problem amongst public schools. I'm assuming you're saying this barely happens at private school. Okay, yes, you did correct that. Okay. We should all blame ourselves for allowing the government to take full control of our school system. Government bad. Crazy Train says lack of teaching respect. Mr. T is agreeing with Jester. Exactly. Grit says just my experience. Shy Lady's laughing at Dawes. Juju says lack of funding means the inability to invest in what matters for students. Okay, that's why there's no premature sign. You can't tell ahead of time. From Crazy Train. Same thing. Were these people's intentions or motivations made that clear after the fact? So again, we're focusing on children. But what about the adults who, for whatever reason, in their 50s and 60s, who go and shoot people? How come they didn't do it 20 years earlier? Jimmy, you have the mic. But you keep saying children. What about adults? So is that a way of saying please like me, meaning we all saw the signs. The signs were there where these people were asking or maybe begging to be liked, but we just turned our head. Okay. I'm going to ask people on YouTube. Are you guys able to hear the conversation on Podbean on YouTube? Okay. All right. So, Crucible, I'm coming back to you.
Well, I don't want to delve too much deeper into the single parent thing, but but the thing is, this is an important point, and it goes back to not just when you look at the profile of not just kids who do shootings and they become adults who are also dysfunctional, but the overwhelming profile is of a, and I've read this statistically, of is a male, black or white, the race is immaterial, between the ages of 16 and 25, and I think they've found that somewhere in the 70 percentile, not single parent homes, no father in the home. So when you've got a young male and they're into video games and all the violence that comes with, and they are disaffected. They're in these chat rooms all day long talking to other disaffected young males who are pissed off at the world. They may or may not be in school. They don't have any direction. So girls don't ever commit mass shootings. And I think that's because a lot of times if there is a single parent household, the mother is the one parent who's in there. Should we be looking into that to say, why aren't girls committing these crimes at the same rate as boys? It isn't even close. So I think it's beyond the single parent thing. It's the lack of a father. But the other piece I think that Jimmy has touched on and you guys have touched on very well is not just social media. It's what's the mechanism that drives social media that attracts so many people to it? It's the anonymity. You can hide behind a screen and say some of the most vicious, cruel things to people that you would never, ever, ever say to them sitting there face to face. You wouldn't even say it to them over the telephone, but you'll say it to them over a computer screen, and you start pushing people's buttons, you start getting in your own head, you start to believe things that aren't true. And I don't think it's just social media, it's just the isolation that comes with video games and social media. Like Jimmy said, you're not socializing anymore. You're interacting with people you don't even know, and you've developed an animosity for them based on something they said on a screen. So it's obviously very complicated, but I think our ability to say things to people without any consequences has emboldened people to make them believe things that just are not true. I think we have kids spending way too much time alone with nobody to bounce anything off of, and they're living in a world with other disaffected males, and we see the results.
I am hearing you, but you have, yes, males tend to do the mass shootings. But when you look on social media, you look at the nastiness, it's female. A lot of girls are, high school girls, and girls who are in 7th and 8th grade, they are mean. They are mean. They will talk about another girl and just tear her to pieces. Where these girls are coming back, you look at the suicides of a lot of young girls is mainly because they were bullied on social media from other girls. So while a girl may not be picking up a gun, her words are causing these people to kill themselves. So when people say words don't matter, words do matter. Words matter. And you can say, oh well, you need to be strong, maybe for you, but words matter. When you have like I said, sometimes just a whole campaign of just constant abuse over and over and over, saying, you're ugly, no boy will ever want to go out with you. And these kids are killing themselves, and they even say, why don't you kill yourself? And they're doing it, and you go to the
I have to
schools.
agree with you on that.
Thank
You
you.
know,
And wait, hold on, Jimmy. And you go to the
sorry.
schools, and you're saying, I'm being picked on. Whatever, schools are so afraid of getting sued that they don't want to say anything. Back in the day, if you were doing something, your ass got in trouble. Your parents were called. You were suspended. You were called into the dean's office. Whatever. They did not put up with it. And I think and I want to also think about what Jester said. Is it that private schools you don't hear about it? Because I mean, what are private schools doing that are different? Is it the fact that because you're paying money, they're covering stuff up? I mean, I don't know, but you have a lot of kids out there who are being bullied through not the media. I want to be clear. Social media. I'm talking about the Facebooks and the TikToks, and the Instas. So words definitely matter. It's not where you can say, "Oh, just ignore it and go back to school." Maybe if parents were not saying that and were being more involved with their kids instead of saying just ignore it, maybe their kid or kids would not be as malicious as they are. And girls are mean. Boys may pick up a gun, but a girl can kill you in a different way. So, Jimmy, I'm gonna come to you, but I know Ba wants to say something.
Yeah, I mean, you have a point. Girls are vicious. Now, let me give you an example.
Wait,
So,
Jimmy,
one
Jimmy,
of the school shooting.
wait, Jimmy. I know Ba. Ba, go on, Ba.
I mean, I, I, I mean, I agree to some extent. For me, this is just demoralization. Our whole world is one big cesspit. It's hell. We live on a hell planet. I know I'm being extreme, but it literally is. From every corner, our lives, it's like we're a social engineering, and you're talking about private schools and the difference between them and public schools, and that's just it. It's a class issue. The people who are excelling at life right now are those with money, and the people who are poor are just at breaking point. And what that will be, who knows? Something could send anyone over at any given time. And I would say if there was more guns in the UK and other countries, you would have more of these shootings because everyone's at a breaking point. And the last couple of years has only amplified that. There's a lot of suicide. Since the last 2 years, people being locked down, you're stuck in your home, you're in a toxic relationship. There's all these bad demoralization, this just the way life is set up. And for people like me, I believe it's been planned that way, that our world has gone that way because it's been pushed that way by certain people, but some people might just think it's just by accident or it was naturally going to happen this way. But I don't. I look back at the 40s, 50s, even. I know that was like wartime, but the way people were then, gentlemen were gentlemen, women were women, and now we're just a joke, we're just a shambles. Like I'm on TikTok now, which I never said I would be, but the comment section on some of these lives is just embarrassing. It's disgusting. And that shows. And I think everything that we've touched on here tonight, I know we're kind of beating on the parent thing. It's not that we're hating against single parents or even, but to contend with life, it's idealistic to have two parents to share the load, because it is a very hard job to bring up a parent. And then when you're talking about, hold on, adults also go and shoot people up and do all the bad things. They were kids once, and they're coping until a certain point where they're snapping. It's the same things. To finish off, you guys have probably seen films or these crime shows where a murder will happen, and the investigator will pull out his record and go, oh, he's got all the signs of a serial killer. His mother was a drug addict, dad was abuser, he ran away, joined a cult, did all was into drugs for a while. It's like the same things. So if you take one of these shooters or someone that's committing crime and look into their life, you can tick boxes. You can literally psychoanalyze their lives and go, right, they had one parent. Well, that's one that doesn't go in their favor. They didn't have much friends. They kind of were shy. They secluded themselves. There's all these little things. And I'm not saying that everyone that has a single parent and everyone that doesn't have friends and is going to end up shooting. But these things cannot be ignored. And there are ways to fight them. Marriage was one that, back in the day where it was frowned upon to have a child out of wedlock. That was a good thing. It was a good thing in place. But they'll demonize that in today's society and say, well, that was just wrong. Like people, like, the feminist stuff that we were talking about in a previous show about how they've said, oh, um, men made women stay at the kitchen sink. It's like they've demonized something that wasn't actually that bad and actually helped us live a better life. And they're doing the same things now with other things. And that's all by design.
Okay. All right. Jimmy, before I come to you, I just want to read two comments that Crazy Train said. She said, let's be real. Shootings aren't new. It's just published now because of the internet. And then she says, let's stop blaming anything other than the person. So, Jimmy, you have the mic, and thank you for waiting. And then,
Oh yeah, no
Aaron,
problem.
I'm coming to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, you're right. How you saying girls are very vicious with their comments with each other and to saying vicious things to the boys. And I was saying, take this as an example. At one of the past school shootings, the boy stood up in the middle of class, yelled surprise, pulled out a shotgun, and only used that shotgun one time. He put it in the face of one of the girls in the class and killed her instantly with a shotgun. Dropped the shotgun, started using the handgun. Why did he only use the shotgun one time? Why not have a bunch of rounds? He specifically targeted that girl with the shotgun purposely because she must have said or done something to him that really pissed him off or really sent him off. And he specifically saved that shotgun blast for her. And I guarantee you that poor girl probably had a closed casket, more than likely, with a shotgun to the face. And being the first victim there. And
but
it's disturbing.
also, Jimmy, but don't you also have to look at it where parents are, it's almost as if they're encouraging their children to be bullies. You're an adult bully, encouraging your child to be a bully. But then when the person that you're bullying comes to school with a gun and kills your child, all of a sudden we're supposed to feel sorry for you because your child's gone. But what did you do to antagonize the situation?
Or prevent that situation from happening itself as well. Well, exactly. And I think this whole issue with kids, the children's mentalities, it all starts from home with the parents. By far, the parents are the first teacher. They're the first ones to teach them morals, right and wrong. They're the first ones to give them an ideal of how to live their life. Now, I hate to say this, but there's this young generation of parents who have that mentality or who grew up with that mentality. Don't tell me what to say. Don't tell me what to do. If I can do it, I can do it. Those are the parents now. That generation are parents now. Look how they're raising their kids. They're teaching them to be little shits just like they were. There's no difference, and it's true. A child is a reflection of the parent. Simple as that.
Okay.
It's and then I blame my generation for the whole social media, bullying on social media, because I mean, although back in my day social media was just starting, I do recall that my generation, they they started their bullying. That is a big deer in my car. Wow, sorry, got distracted by a deer that came up to my car.
Oh.
uh, but yeah, so I remember that my generation, unfortunately, we're the pioneers of cyberbullying, and um, but compared to the cyberbullying back then to what it is now, it's a whole new different level. I mean, my cyberbullying was more like us gossiping with friends, and we didn't realize that when we posted something, the whole world could see it, kind of thing, and or as well that the that certain but like MySpace when it was big,
I remember
at the time
MySpace.
I really didn't understand how that worked back then. I just knew I can post updates on what I'm doing, etc., whatever, put music on there, and and it's funny that now that I think about it, is that man, I want to go back and look at my MySpace, and I want to read on my page all the crap I posted and see how much crap I talked about another person back in the day, and did it had and I wonder if that had any adverse effect on that person that I talk crap to. You know what I mean? It's just like we don't really think about the repercussions of what we're saying or what we do. We just know that, oh, I'm mad at this person. I'm gonna blast this person without even thinking about the consequences. And I think that is the problem with today's kids. They're not understanding that there's consequences for their actions because they are not being taught that. They're not being taught there's a consequence. I always remember growing up, there's a consequence to your action, whether it be a positive or a negative. And I guarantee you, if you do something bad or wrong, that negative consequence is going to come back and bite you on the ass, plain and simple. And today's kids are lacking that. Why? Because, like you said, they have their faces dug in their phone. They're ignoring their parents. They're ignoring family time. They're ignoring that socialization that back in the day that kids had. But that is so sad. It is so sad to see that these kids lack the basic understanding of cause and effect. Would my actions have an outcome of something positive, or would it have something negative? Just because I say, uh, let me give you an example. Like back in my day, when we told somebody to go kill yourself, that simply meant fuck off, piss off. We weren't literally saying go kill yourself. Nowadays, it's a bloody sin to tell somebody to go kill yourself because we're afraid they're actually gonna do it. And I'm sure a lot of the older generation who are listening understand what I mean, because I mean I've heard even the generation before me, I've heard them use that phrase all the time just to mean to piss off, go away, it wasn't necessary to go kill yourself. But like I said, I strongly believe that the kids these days are lacking that basic understanding of consequences. Simple as that.
Okay. All right. I want to crazy. Grit responded to Crazy Train. The person is responsible for their actions, but what causes that person to act out like that? And Jester and Ba are having some male bonding stuff going on. Ba says to me, and those are the ones that are at risk. Crazy Train says, Grit, can you tell me? I mean, who's to say? Why does anyone do the vile shit they do beyond shootings? And Grit says, to Crazy Train, as much as the person doing the crime to blame, we need to find the root cause as to why they act out like that. Crazy Train says, environment, the people you share your time with, strangers, coworkers, your workplace, media, all of it affects a person, but ultimately the person's doing it. Crazy Train says, good luck. You can never tell until it happens. People snap on a dime. Then she also says, I've been rounds with topics. There's no facts. Every single person is different. I don't care if they were raised by the same or anything. Too many too many variables. Good point, Crazy Train. And if there was tells who's paying attention. Grit says, I don't understand why schools I don't understand why schools though. I mean, honestly, these are innocent children. Enjoys it. Okay, Jester. Oh boy, you and Ba. Okay. Crazy Drain says, same pieces of shit that molest kids and people. There are absolute vile, evil people. How do you study that to figure it out? Crazy Train, thanks for liking the show. Unfortunately, that's above my pay grade, says Grid. And Brina says there's lots of information in criminal psychology, but not enough people are aware of how to notice signs. But should you have to take a psychology class, if your child is having an issue, or if your husband or your wife or your coworker is having an issue, I mean, now are we going to be at the point where we have to take classes in order to point out the signs? And Grit says, well, don't we have professionals out there to figure it out? And Crazy Train says, so many, and really all of them are probably partly right. Mr. T says, I'm not a single parent by choice, but the other parent dipped and I had to fill the gap. We'll do it again in a heartbeat. Crazy Train says, Grit probably, but when you figure out one, what about the next 10 things that come up? No one cares about the common folks. They basically care about money and power. Absolutely. I did not kick you out, Bob. Say that. Nearly impossible to study the mind, though, to be able to stop someone else. Crazy Train, I don't know what you mean when you say that. All we can do is our best. Jimmy, kids get told they have so many rights and they use that to their advantage. Some of them do, not all, some of them. Mama didn't hold back. My mother didn't hold back either. I believe in spanking. Boss said I'm a bad parent because I was because I spanked. You tap that bottom. Sorry. You have a seat. Okay. All right. You said something I agreed with. Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. I had to get through the chat. So there's a lot going on for what a lot of people said, and I still come back to the thing is on my original question: being liked and accepted. Are people acting out? Be it with a school shooting, be it with they go out and they rob a bank, they beat up the kid in school, they send a nasty text, they troll someone, they catfish someone like we were talking about yesterday. Is it all because these people somewhere along the line, they want to be liked, they want to be accepted and not tolerated? So that's what I would like to know. So Aaron?
Yeah, Jimmy, I think he just dropped off,
Yes,
but
yes,
I really hope that those words that he said reached the right ears, because people don't realize the consequences of the things that they may post on social media and the impact that they really do have. I want to go back to your initial questions. Why do people have to be liked? Why do some people lie to be liked? Why do they portray themselves to be someone they're not, just to be liked and accepted? Those are like all great questions that I was just thinking about. And does it come down to maybe just trying to fill a void and somebody's needs not being met in their life? We were talking about the young age of a lot of these shootings specifically, and when you become an adult and you're introduced to the real world and you're going through all of these changes, everything's not lining up in life. I feel like your body's going through biological changes. It's a news phase, a huge change in your life. It has a huge impact on people's thought processes, going from carefree to losing control of feeling secure. And social media is, I think it really is a medium responsible for that huge disconnect and creating a lot of hesitation, doubt, confusion, and anxiety in people's lives. That and having people use all sorts of social media to create a feeling of belongingness and to feel like you're part of a community. But I think having that void and having your needs met is a huge thing that I think people need to recognize and prioritize as something that they need to like address and be aware of. And when I mean having a void, it could be anything from that whole social hierarchy. What are some things that you might do to be accepted? And it could be appearance. It could be with the way that you dress, so that you fit in. You could change the way that you speak. You could change the things that you do, your morals. You can become very flexible in the way that you interact with humans on a day-to-day basis, and our perspectives become very skewed on what's acceptable and not. And it's a shame that our morals have become so malleable to the point that we think that certain actions are going to make us heard. And that might be another example of a void that's not, a need that's not being met, your voice not being heard. And it's just a really, it's a really sad, I think, condition of the world with that, that friendship hierarchy, that social imbalance, and where people tip so far to one extreme. And it's really sad. I'm sure there's a huge list you guys could probably think of that when it comes to relationship follies, and the emptiness and all of that stuff that would be an example of filling voids in your own life. But it's just, I just wanted to circle back to your initial question, why do people have to be liked? I think of even like in the jungle when there's an alpha male, and then you have the person at the top who gets all of the popularity and the attention, and the girl wants the guy, or the guy wants the hot cheerleader, the captain of the cheerleading squad. It's a primal urge to want to be higher on the ladder, and in business, to be judged by your successes in life. You want to be successful at your business. You want to get a promotion. You want to be the boss. Sure, it's more money, and that's another thing. You're gonna be judged based on your accomplishments, whether that be monetary, social. Are you beautiful? Changing your appearance. People just they want to be surrounded by people. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel accepted. It makes you feel whole. And those are the things that fill your voids, So when your needs aren't being met, you're going to act out to get attention. If you want to be famous, and that's the way that you're going to accomplish it, by doing, those negative things, that's a really bad way to fill that void. But I mean, I guess it's going to get the job done, but it's just a really evil and negative avenue to take. But that's the reality. And I hope that's not the entire purpose of somebody's life, to go down that because they're feeling unfulfilled and uncontent and unhappy in a world that's not feeding people what they need, and it's just people just being like they're living in the jungle and trying to tear everybody else down so that there's more room at the top. So you do what you have to make sure that your emotions, I guess, are balanced and you're feeding the right beasts, so yeah, belonging, validation, social acceptance, love, all those things. But I just wanted to circle back to why we want to be liked. Why do you please like me?
Well, no, I mean,
and
thank you, because I was going to circle back, and thank you for bringing it back full circle, because I mean, people want to be liked.
Mhm.
I mean, and yes, yes, we want to be liked, but some people have to be liked. And I think there's a difference. Those of us who, yeah, we want to be liked, but the ones who have to be liked. And I think those are the ones that we need to have our radar up on and always look in our back mirror, because those are the people who just may snap.
what does it mean to be liked? Is it respect from others? Is it somebody that follows what you say, that listens to you? So there's somebody that makes you feel good, somebody that's proud of you. You know, what's important? You know, so
I mean, and you bring up a good point, because I have somebody, and yes, I am going to say this because the door was open, and I was waiting for. Well, anyway, um, I have a troll, and I have a troll on Podbean who has been trolling me for the last 4 months. I would say since February. She it is a she, trolls me on various shows, and from what I gather, it's because she has this need to be liked, um, and for whatever reason, um, I did a slight to her, and yes, I'm putting it out there, whatever, and because they were not asked to participate in something. And this person has been coming on my show for the last 3 weeks. They think I don't know, but I know who they are. And they just have this, in my mind, they have this need to be liked. This is not why I did this show. I've had this topic for a long time. I have literally over 200 topics, but um this person, people who want to be liked, sometimes I think they're cowards. Sometimes I think they're weak. I think they're toxic. I think they're psychotic. And that's how I feel about this person. I think they're a parasite. I think they're cancer. I think they're a waste. And I think they are a fool. So, they can say and do whatever they want. Um, I don't care. But they have this need to be liked. They have this serious need to be liked and accepted. Um, and I think this person, if given the chance, would do me harm, literally, physically. So, when you talk about people who want to be liked, why do people just, if you're just yourself, if you're just yourself, people will like you, with all of your flaws, with your attitudes, with your, if you're the most wonderful person ever, people will like you. But if you start to pretend and portray yourself to something that you're not, people aren't. And then those people who start to portray themselves differently, or they see themselves as not being accepted, those are the people to me that snap. Does it come from childhood? Maybe. Or maybe just something in their brain just went haywire. And that's what I think this person is. So, Shy Lady, welcome. Would you
Thank
like to
you.
comment?
Yeah. I would say a lot of what you're saying about these people who want to be liked is spot on. My daughter has a friend who's really, really, really into social media. She's known since like high school, and she's very, very dependent on how many likes she get on Instagram, who's looking at her stuff. She compares herself to a lot of people, and she's a nice person, but it's so sad to see how wrapped up she's into what people think about her and how she should look. And I said to my daughter, I said, don't you understand that a lot of these girls that she see on Instagram have filters? They really don't look like what she think that they look like, because she compares herself a lot of times to people on Instagram, and it's like her world is absorbed with how many likes and what people think of her. But I think a lot of what is going on with her is that she has a very, very low self-esteem. And it's a lot of people like that. And it's really sad because Instagram and social media has created a very, very bad uh, image that people think are real. Um, like, for instance, the Kardashians. I mean, I can't take nothing away from them creating this multi-million-dollar enterprise that they've created. All the family members, but it's been based on um, false things. A lot of women now have gotten BBLs, Brazilian butt lifts, because of what Kim has done. And I'm in the store and I see women of all different ethnicities, shapes, sizes, height, with these. It's obvious that they're not real. And it's so sad to see so many people subject themselves to wanting to look like someone else. And then you see all these people with these lip injections, and some of them lips look so swollen that they look like they hurt. And it's all because of what they see on social media. And it's really sad, because the Kardashians, I've heard people say that they don't look like they do. Some people have seen them in person and say they look nothing like the pictures you see on Instagram. Those pictures are filtered. And it's really sad that so many people are trying to look like them and other people that they see on Instagram to be liked. And so it's just really sad how social media has just taken over so many people's lives. And it seemed like it was a good thing, when it came out, but I see a lot of negative things about social media.
Okay.
That's pretty much my piece.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Boss says, okay, I got your back, but not just that these people need to be called out, especially when they are affecting your life or pod being experience. They're not affecting my life or pod being experience, but I needed to call them out as the parasite that they are. You're in my house, my show, whatever. You've tried to call me out on other shows, whatever. Don't care. I'm not gonna, show my behind on someone else's show, but in my house, I'm gonna call you out for the parasite and cancer you are. So yeah. Shy Lady, thank you. Mr. B, you have been wanting to say something. Are you still there? And Saturday Night Smoke, I see you. You're like blinking on my panel. Are you here? Are you not here? Because if you are, I apologize if you've been here and I have just been ignoring you. I don't mean to, but you've literally started to blink, and I don't know. Popping has been crazy, and I truly do not ignore people who are on the panel. I try to get around to everybody because I know everybody has something to say. So, Mr. B, you want to say something? Are you still there? Okay, Crucible.
Yeah, I think, everything that we've talked about, and we've talked about some of the stuff on subsequent shows of yours. And so I think society, we know society has been evolving since beginning of time, and each generation presents its own set of challenges that the previous generation didn't have, and we have to make an adjustment. And this is no different. When we list all the different things, video games, social media, one-parent household, mental health, the list goes on. Let's say all those things are valid. What are we doing about those things? When parents are raising children, kids are smart. Kids are crafty. They'll figure out ways to play their parents and manipulate them and try to get a leg up, and the parents have got to counter with their move. And then the kids figure something else out, and then the parents got to counter with that move. So now that we're gathering this information, and there seems to be credible evidence to say, yes, there's a bunch of categories that we can point to for these things happening, the question remains then, what are we doing about it? We can't say anymore, we don't know why these things are happening. We've listed a bunch of things that everybody agrees are causes. So again, I go back, there's two places in the world where kids are formed, their lives are formed: schools and homes. teachers can only do so much. They only have your kids from 8 until 3. And I'm not being unfair to teachers here or anything, but they're not their kids. They do what they need to do from 8 to 3 or 8 to 4. And then there's somebody else's problem. And that's the parents. So I think it's up to parents to get ahead of this thing, look out for your kids, engage with them, talk to them, pay attention, because we're talking about different circumstances now, but the concept is the same. Society is changing, and we have to make an adjustment. When we see things going sideways, we got to do something to put it back on track. This is a more of an intractable problem because it's so complicated and there's so many moving parts, but we can't say anymore that we're in the dark about the causes. What we need to do is start paying attention and getting in front of these things, as every other generation has had to do. When the ground moves beneath their feet, they do something about it, and this time is no different.
I'm sorry. I'm listening to you and I'm reading what Bob is saying. And Bob, I know you have my back, so thank you. And I know other people on this platform have my back, and I appreciate it. So, welcome, Chill Will. So Terry, I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I understand what you are saying, but everything is I just can't go the single parent route. Not totally, because again, these problems are popping up in the last 20 years, 25 years, that didn't happen before. And
Well, just real quick, I wasn't referring to single parents. I mean parents, period.
okay.
Whether it's a single parents or two parents, you see what's going on in your kids' lives as our parents did, and our parents' parents before them, and our parents' parents. And you notice the things that are going on, and you need to take some action. It doesn't matter how many parents are in the household. You watch and you see what's going on with your kids and say, I got to do a course correction here because this thing's going sideways on me.
Well, and I will say this, and I know Ba is not going to like me saying this, but for my generation, I am a boomer, okay, and we got that butt tapped, okay. That belt was hanging behind the door, whatever, and we got spanked. Then all of a sudden, in the 80s, you had this timeout. Talk to your children. I'm sorry. It may work for some, but that don't work for everyone. Sometimes you got to, like I said, tap that behind. And again, I don't mean you're beating your child, but sometimes, like I said, you gotta tap that butt. So I think that boomers, they dropped the ball because they were so Aaron, thank you very much for being on the panel. They were so intent on, I had it this way, so I want my child to have this and have that. They were being a friend to their child. And I think boomers dropped the ball across all socioeconomic, lines, whatever. We dropped the ball. Now we have these millennials who are still dropping the ball. So two parent, one parent, I don't know. But there's a problem. And Chris says, tap that button, tap the like button. Please do. Okay. And then that guy says, I can understand Bible thumping, not child thumping. Sorry that guy. Sorry. I'm sorry. And again, I don't mean to beat your child, but sometimes, that talk is just not enough. Sometimes your child crosses that line where you need to tap that bottom, and they know they're not going to do it again. And like I said, I don't mean that every time your child, he spilled his milk or she spilled the, something, whatever, you're taking out the belt and you're beating the crap out of him. No. But there are some things that you don't do. When my son was 3, we had a rule. You stay next to me. I'm holding his hand. what have you. But I'm driving into, the driveway, trying to get stuff out of the car, and he's with me. And my son had a habit of wanting to break away and run down the street. I tapped that bottom. You don't do that. You can run into the street. You can get hit by a car. Anything can happen. And before I was saying, don't do that, don't do this, whatever. He did it for a third time after I tapped that bottom. He never did it again. So sometimes you have to go that extra step. So you can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but this timeout crap that they started, sorry, doesn't work for every child. And for some kids, timeout is a joke. You tell them to go to their room, whatever, in a room that's full of a phone or video games, whatever. Yeah, right. Timeout. So, Mr. B, are you back? Okay, and I'm going to start wrapping it up. So I'm going to give everybody their last words. And thank you, Mr. T, for liking the show. Thank you for everybody for liking the show. That guy says the study was put out that your child should never feel terrorized by you unless you want to cause issues. And I understand that, but I truly believe that when children are spanked, they don't feel terror from their parents. They know exactly why they're getting spanked. And again, I'm not saying that you're beating your child. If you're beating your child and your child knows that you're going to get a beating, yeah. But if a child knows that you're getting spanked because of something they did wrong, I think that's just a little overboard. So you can do the timeout. That's fine. People raise their children however they see fit. For me, I tapped that bottom, and I didn't have to do it a lot, probably less than 5 times. And I'm happy to say that my child, who turned 22 yesterday, is a fine, upstanding citizen. Okay, and a spanking doesn't have to be terrifying. Exactly, that guy. That's exactly what I'm saying. And Barham says spanking teaches kids that when people are bad, it's okay to hit them. Causes more problems than good. I disagree. And Bob says hashtag peaceful parenting. Okay, all right. But then again, like I said, I look at my kid. He's not going around killing people. He's not drinking. He's not caught drinking at the age of 13, 14. He's not running away. He's not, no, sorry. And like I think Crazy Train says, there's so many variables, and every situation is different. Every situation's different. And as I've said about other things, there are different layers. You just can't assume. So, Chris says that guy I was spanking, I was terrorized for doing something naughty, not of my mom. Not of my mom. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. That guy says I'm not a parent. Okay. I don't plan on it. Okay. Well, thank you, Juju. Thank you. His mom did it. Okay, so I'm gonna go around the room. Shy Lady, I'll start with you. Do you have any last words of wisdom?
Yeah. I saw some of the comments. I'm gonna have to disagree with Bob. I don't think spanking teaches kids to hit people. I knew kids that my daughter and son went to school with, and their parents had never touched them, but yet they were the bully. They were the bully. What's the word? The most bullying kids, if that's a word.
So they were the ones that were bullying people.
Exactly,
okay.
Hitting kids, and their parents never touched them. So, that maybe he's experiencing people who were spanked and they resorted to that, but from my experience with my kids, classmates, no, their parents never touched them, and they were some of the worst kids ever. So I have to disagree with him on that. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
And I love your 2 cents. Okay. I'm going to go to Mr. B. Are you there? I'm giving you a chance for last words. Mr. B, Mr. B. Okay, Crucible, last words.
Yeah, just real quick. I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but one of the things I think that parents can do, but it's a serious point. When we talked about, and Jimmy made some good points, and I've been talking about the hiding behind the screens and whatnot, and what they've found, and they've done studies about this, is when kids or people in general, adults can do the same thing. When you're not face to face with somebody and you can't see a facial expression, you can't see sadness, you can't see confusion, you can't see happiness, so you're missing the empathy gene there. And I think it's up to parents to teach right and wrong, understand that words matter, feelings matter, and promote and cultivate empathy. Empathy is a huge piece of the puzzle that's missing in social media, and it's missing in schools today. And that's the job of parents. Treat people right. Treat people with respect. Have some morality. That has to be drilled into their heads over and over and over. Your words matter. Think about how you're. And that's what my parents did to me. And it has to be drilled in over and over and over again, because most kids at that age or earlier, they don't necessarily intend to inflict harm. They just don't know any better. And until they learn boundaries, and that's got to come from parents, you're going to have a mess on your hands. So I think it's a parental thing. It always has been. We can count on the schools and the daycare and all that, but at the end of the day, they don't give a shit because they're not their kids. The people whose kids they are, they got to give a shit.
I will agree with you on one thing, Crucible. This entire conversation, that you're right. They don't give a shit because it's not their kids. That guy says the most messed up kids I knew had parents who were meth coke addicts. He also says people sell their kids for that stuff. Yes, they do. And that guy also says, I've been told ADHD kids need immediate consequence. So, bye. You have the last word.
So this has been a great show full of little there's loads of topics kind of went into one, but I've really enjoyed it. This is something that I would love to do for Friendly Differences. But ultimately, for my final word, I would say, and this goes for all the topics, and obviously with Shy Lady's last comment, I'll give a little bit of a pushback, but I'll use an analogy. If you're sitting in a daycare center with a load of 3-4-year-olds, and one of the 3-year-olds snatches a toy off of the other one, and the other one hits the kid back, where do you think that came from? Because I'll tell you where it's came from, in my opinion. It's either came from the fact that their parents have hit them, or they've seen violence on a TV screen or something. Like, they've seen that, they've learned that behavior. And I know there's going to be exceptions to the rules where I was spanked as a kid and I don't go out shooting or, punching people. But this is the things that when you do come across a murderer or a shooter or someone that's in behind bars, when you look into their lives, they were spanked as kids. A lot of them were spanked as kids. A lot of them had single parents. A lot of them, their parents, if they were together, were abusive to each other. There's patterns, because humans they're like sponges from kids all the way through to death. They're learning all the time. They're seeing things in the media, they're seeing things in real life. And otherwise, I'd like to turn the question. I've been dying to jump back on the call and ask you, Solid, why do you think people turn to, gun crime and things? What do you think? Because if it's not that it's learned and that all these things I'm saying is just nonsense, what is it? So thanks again.
Okay, and I want to answer, your question first of all with the 3-year-old, and I'm gonna give Charlotte an opportunity to answer that too. The 3-year-old or 4-year-old that's sitting there and somebody grabs the toy. Maybe that person, it was like maybe that kid had been grabbing, and finally the other kid said, "I'm just gonna slap the crap out of you." Chill, I didn't even know you were here. I sent you an invite, and you have literally just popped up. So. Chill, welcome. What would you like to say? I'm telling you, popping does not. You literally just popped up on my screen, so I was not ignoring
So
you.
no, I wasn't. I didn't think you was. I figured something was going on. I wasn't tripping. But I was just going. No, go ahead. I know Brian asked you a question, so I didn't want to
No,
interrupt
I
you.
mean, so basically, you know, what I'm saying is that, you know, that kid could have been snatching that other child's toy for whatever reason. And then they just snapped and it's like, you better give me back my damn toy. And he just smacked them. You know, so Shy Lady, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to answer because Bob did say I want to ask Shy Lady. So do you want to comment on the 3-year-old slapping the other little 3-year-old or 4-year-old?
Yeah, I was told, and of course I don't remember because I was too young, by my mother that I was a biter, and I had an older sister. We're 17 months apart, and when I was about, I guess, 9, 10 months old, when I wanted a toy that she had, my mother said I would bite her. I would bite her to get that toy. And my sister was probably 3 years old herself. So no one taught me to bite. That was just something that I did to get what I wanted. My mother told me I was known as the biter. But as a baby, my parents weren't biting each other. My sister wasn't a biter. My sister was a very timid child. And I was kind of like I guess the kind of kid that was more aggressive. And so that's what I resorted to. Cousins came over and they were around my age. If they had something that I wanted, I'd bite them to try and get, I'd bite their hand or their arm to get what I wanted. So you don't have to be taught that. I think it's something that's innate.
Okay, and you have a point. Shep, I know you are here, but Chill will. We are running out of time, so Chill, I'm gonna go to you, and then I'm going to go quickly to Shep. So Chill.
Okay, cool. So basically, parents in general are messed up. So it's a cycle. So to say it's the parents' fault is really not really looking into the problem for me. Um, we're all messed up to some degree. I do think it's an insensitivity now in today's day, that empathy, lack thereof, I should say, of the value of life in general. It's an issue, and with us just not really learning or growing together anymore. We're everybody's in different rooms and different things. Don't even like each other in the same house, and it's so easy to be secluded
You're
in
right.
that manner. And so we're not learning nor not even seeing where a person is at mentally because we're so to ourselves. We're in our. You don't even know if your child's sick because you don't talk to them. You don't have dinner with them. You don't coach. You don't play with them. They don't do that no more. And we just all to ourselves. So that's a underlying issue in itself. I mean, every kid's different. We can't just say spanking works and the other doesn't work. It worked for me. I'm not a psycho. I don't think it's an exception that you get a spanking and then you become normal. That's not an exception. I was just speaking about like Bob made it as if it was an exception. If you get whoopings, that more than likely than not you become a psycho or become abused. Like I don't think that's necessarily it. At least not for not the people around me. Everybody got ass whoopings. I mean, a lot of people, most of them, that I don't have nobody in jail or. I mean, everybody did bad things, but it wasn't nothing crazy. I mean, if you see that child in the daycare and they snatch that kid toy, if that kid who snatched that toy got ass whooping in front of all those other kids, guess who's snatching toys again? Nobody.
Yeah.
So it works both ways, and a lot of these studies are. That's what I hate these studies because they're done in a biased manner or just not the environment in which they are controlled is just not. I don't know, and it doesn't tell a story, and it doesn't, involve cultures or situations, and it's a lot to go behind that. But
And
yeah, it's a
no,
lot to go behind that.
no, and
But
Chill, and Chill. I understand, and that is why I say to not just to certain things, all things. There are layers. There is a
mhm.
backstory. There's always something else.
And kids can
So
learn nuance, right? Kids can know, like you can't say don't ever lie. That's silly to say don't ever lie. If somebody got a gun in your head and you get a lie, you can say you save your kids. You're gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense to lie. You know what I'm saying? You can't. I mean, you kids learn nuance when they should
right.
and should not do something. You know what I'm saying? It's just you're taking away from their ability to know that it's not just black or white. And so yeah,
No,
yeah.
I understand. And
Go
Chill, I'm sorry.
ahead.
I don't
Go
mean to
ahead. Go
rush you,
ahead.
but
No, go ahead.
Shep, you have the mic for like one 1 minute. I am so sorry because we're at our 2 hour
No,
mark.
That's fine. I'll share the time because I missed the question or topic, so I don't really want to talk about something I'm not too sure what
No,
what you guys were
we're
talking
just basically been talking about why do people need to be liked, and then it went to school um, shootings and parents and raising your kids, and kids are shooting each other because of this. So basically, we've talked about some everything around why do people need to be liked.
about. Oh, okay. Um, I kind of see it being a monkey see, monkey do type of world, and I feel that the ones that children who are not liked don't have that outlet or haven't been taught how to cope with their feelings, and as they get older and continue to bottle up their feelings, it just leads to more and more aggression and ill thoughts. And without counseling or the parents bringing up emotions and feelings in the house and letting the kids know it's okay to feel this way as long as you're able to communicate it verbally before acting on it physically. I think that's where a lot of like just like Will was sharing, or people have slacked where instead of doing that, they'll just buy their kid or whomever a Xbox or a PlayStation, and it's hard for that child to process his feelings and emotions, and that carries over to adulthood.
Okay, all right. Guys, I have to end this. I'm getting the warning. So and I never like to go right up to the very end, but thank you all. Shep, thank you for coming on for your last words. Chill. I apologize for not seeing you. Crucible, Bob, Mr. B, everyone, Jimmy,
It's all good.
everyone.
See y'all
So
later.
thank you so much. So on that note, you guys, I will see you tomorrow, and enjoy your day or evening wherever you are in the world. And Crazy Train, thank you for your words of wisdom. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
You're welcome, Chef. Sam, I am welcome. But we are ending the show. That guy, thank you for your comments. Slightly serious, thank you for being here. Jester, Mr. T, Power Girl, Grid, Juju, my wonderful admin. Shy Lady, my admin. Let's see who else is here. Zilla was here earlier, but he left. Chris Wilson. I apologize if I'm missing anyone. But we had a lot to talk about today. Frankie, thank you. Aaron. Let's see. Brina. Grid. And everyone over on YouTube and everywhere else.